Homeschooling families around the country are constantly wasting time carrying out very necessary but redundant everyday tasks. One of the biggest culprits we're going to find in this is going to be the cooking process. Hey guys, my name is David Carnicella. I'm one of the founders here at Next Era Education, and this is a resource rundown where we go into our community, we grab a resource out of one of our 4 pillars, and we present it to you guys for free in hopes of helping your homeschooling experience run just a little bit more smoothly. Now, when it comes to the cooking process, just the cooking process alone is going to include things like shopping for the ingredients, planning, preparing, and then cleaning up the cooking and the dinner mess. Now, this is a massive problem because the whole process eats up a lot of time every single day. And homeschooling families understand just how crucial every single minute is. It's time that could be spent on better things. Things like helping your kid learn to read, creating real experiences with your child, getting a workout in, or maybe just even having a minute to sit back, relax, and catch your breath. This is where I personally believe that meal planning comes into play. No matter who you are or what your situation is, meal planning can get a week's worth of cooking and cleaning done in just one night. So let's break this down a little bit. Let's say you're only prepping for Monday through Friday. If on average it takes you an hour and a half every single night to cook and clean, you're gonna be spending a total of 7.5 hours during the week. If you take 3 hours Sunday night to get all of that done, you're saving yourself 4.5 hours at the end of the week. Imagine how much less stressful your life would be with an extra 4.5 hours to knock out any of your homeschooling to-dos or anything else that you have to do for just life in general. What I love most about meal planning is the fact that this isn't just some tactic or trick that's gonna end up costing you an arm and a leg. If you live in a home or an RV, 99% of you can do this with what you have readily available to you already. That being said, I will say, if you spend a couple extra $100s on things like a rice cooker, an air fryer, a slow cooker, or even a grill, it will go a long way in saving you time just because it's easier and you can also cook more meals at once. Now, that being said, you do not need these tools to be successful at meal planning. When it comes down to how to meal plan, there is no right or wrong way. At the end of the day, you can cook all of meals at once and then load them into Tupperware and then just live the Tupperware lifestyle for a little bit. Or you can just do the prep and you could prep and organize everything. So all you have to do is cook it the day of. Alrighty, so how do we make this a reality for a homeschooling family? The first thing we're gonna have to do is determine a couple different things. And I'm gonna list these out and then I'll go in and explain what each one is. First thing you have to find is your family's macros for every single person individually within your family. The second thing is gonna be deciding what food is and is not allowed in your house or even allowed into your shopping cart. The third thing is determining how much of the food that you choose that's allowed in your house is allowed for each person to eat depending on their macros, the first thing. And the fourth thing we're gonna do before we get started with meal planning is gonna be to create our menu. Now, when it comes down to choosing your macros, in simplest terms, this will tell you exactly how much food each person needs. I want you to focus on 3 things: protein, calories, and carbs. Don't worry about anything else for now, especially if you're just getting into this. Just figure out what do you and your child need when it comes to protein for the day, calorie intake for the day, and the amount of carbs you're allowed to have within a day. When it comes to the second thing, deciding what foods will and will not be allowed in your will or will not be allowed inside of your household or in your family's diet. You guys don't have to be crazy strict when it comes down to what you guys are allowed to consume, but you should think very long term and take every single person's macros into account. Think about things like, which food is gonna lead to a healthier individual for my kid? Which food will help my kid feel and look better as they get older? And all in all, what is the healthiest option for my family? Now, for the third thing, it's gonna be determine how much food each person needs. You're gonna refer back to your macros, and this is just gonna tell you the amount of what each kind of food that's allowed in your house, every single kid has to take in or is allowed to take in during the day. And the fourth thing is to be creating our menu. Now, when it comes to creating our menu, I want you to think of 2 to 3 breakfasts, 2 to 3 lunches, and 2 to 3 dinners. When you're considering this, look back into the list of approved foods, and then you can really just have one for each of these, or you can mix it up. I would suggest having a few options. That's why I said 2 to 3 in each one, just so you guys can kind of keep it interesting and then keeping it changing throughout the week and varying from week to week. All right, so once we figured out our menu, our family's macros. We determine what foods are allowed in our house. Now it comes down to the actually meal planning and meal preparing stage. Now, when it comes to a homeschooling family introducing this into their day-to-day routine, it's not as hard as you might think. It's really as simple as this. Refer back to your menu of approved and allowed meals for your family. Pick this week's meals, go to the shopping center, buy what you need, get home and start cooking. Whether you're making all of the meals for the week then, or you're making a couple days, or you're just preparing everything, simply looking ahead and preparing that little bit or that one day will go a long way in saving you time in the long run. Meal prepping can be great for any homeschooling family out there, and it can be great for anybody in general that's running a very busy schedule, but it's especially great for those who hate cooking and cleaning, those who want to be more conscious about what they're putting into their bodies and their kids' bodies, or trying to save time and money. Now I get it, not every single shoe or every shoe fits every single family. Meal prepping is going to be great for any homeschooling parent out there, or really just any busy person. But it's especially great for those who hate cooking and cleaning, for those who are trying to be mindful of what them and their kids are consuming and eating, or the amount that they're eating, or for anybody trying to save some time and money. Now I get it that every shoe might not fit every single family. And some families generally don't have time to prepare meals one day a week. They can't dedicate that time on any of their days. So depending on where you live, there's going to be a couple different options or alternatives out there. Some of them may be like meal services. There's a company by me called Ideal Nutrition, and their whole entire business model is built for people who want healthy pre-cooked meals at an affordable price. So that if they want healthy, clean meals without having to waste the time cooking it or the hassle of doing it themselves, they offer that alternative there. Depending on your area will determine what you have available to you. But if you're somebody that they can't even prep or whatnot, that could be an option you guys could explore. Now, I've personally used meal planning in my life many different times. Back in college was the first time, and this was when I was obsessed with gaining weight for baseball. I was always a little undersized, so I had to put on weight, which meant that I had to eat my exact macros that I needed to gain the weight that I needed. And meal planning, it allowed me to get the macros I needed in. It allowed me to save money, and it allowed me to eat extremely healthy at a very affordable price. Now, another time is when my brother and I started our business. At the very beginning, we were working construction full-time and trying to launch this business and do this part-time once it started going a little bit. And between juggling everything in the middle, meal planning let me prep all my lunches and dinners one night a week, and that gave me extra time throughout the week to focus on the work that mattered most to me. Both of these times, it helped me eat better, it helped me save money, and it helped me stay productive. And I'm telling you, with a little bit of effort and commitment, you can make it happen in your family's journey as well. Now these days, instead of cooking all my meals at once, I'm doing the prep work where all I do is I get my meals ready, and then when it's day of cooking or cooking time, I walk over to my air fryer, I put my steak or whatnot in there, I hit start, I walk away, I come back, and it's done. I know that anytime a big push is coming in my life where I'm gonna need to save some time, or maybe I have an extensive amount of work that needs to happen, meal planning is gonna be my go-to strategy, because I know at the end of the day, I will be buying back hours in my week by just putting a little bit more effort and commitment into the start of my week. All right, y'all, if you guys found this video helpful, just know that inside of our community, we have conversations like this going on every single day. Inside, you'll find information, resources, and tools that will allow their kids to create the life of their dreams, as well as like-minded homeschooling families who are all committed to helping enhance each other's homeschooling experience. Alrighty, I'll see you guys on the next one.